Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and today will be a story time about the time that my driving instructor tried to hit on me. So let's just jump right into it. This was recently. This is probably, I started my driving lessons in about February. Yeah, it was like a month after my birthday. And so I didn't get to choose my instructor. I didn't know anything about the instructor or whatever. They just said that to be ready the day he comes, the first day he came. They said to be outside, and if I'm not there in 10 minutes that he could leave. So you know me, I'm late all the time, everywhere, even if he coming right outside. So I thought my first lesson was actually at 7 p.m. So it was pouring or whatever, and I didn't think that he was gonna come. So I just like took my time or whatever, and I just stood in front of my building and just see if he was gonna come. But I was outside like after the time that they told me I was supposed to be there. So I'm guessing that he was sitting there like all the time. So I guess he had attitude. I don't really care. But so I got in a car or whatever, and he's like introducing himself, and I'm introducing myself. And he asked me if I ever drove before, and I told him yeah, but not like on the street like I used to drive in like parking lots and stuff, but never on the street with other traffic. So he was basically explaining to me like all the different, you know, things about the road, about the car. He was like, we had the whole first lesson was basically, it's 45 minutes per lesson. The whole lesson we was basically just like explaining the car parts and a whole bunch of stuff, and I was just falling asleep because I could care less about that. Like I was just falling asleep. And wait, one thing, if I'm looking right there is because I'm looking at myself, and it's hard not to look at myself, and I should be looking right there, but I'm looking right there, so just don't mind that. Anyways, I'm not trying to make this video long. So I got in a car, yeah, whatever, we explaining the parts or whatever. So he was telling me how I need to know things for when I drive on the highway, and say like something happens when I'm on the highway, I have to learn about cars basically. So I'm just like, okay. So he started like he didn't tell me he like does hands-on things or whatever. So he told me after this whole thing, he told me to like pull out the park and drive. And he was like basically telling me where to go. So I pulled out, whatever. I was scared because by my building, by my house, traffic comes every 2 seconds. So I'm just like, he's like, whenever you see like no cars come, just go. And it was like cars coming after coming. I'm just like, when am I supposed to go? He kept saying go, and I'm just like I just need to chill. So that was my speaker. So I pull out and go. He wants, okay, say this is the wheel of the road.
He wants me to hold it like this, and not like comfortable like this. He wants me to hold it on top. And I don't feel comfortable doing that. So like every second I would like put my hands back down to where I feel comfortable, and he would like caress my hand and be like, no, it's supposed to be like this.
Then this guy went and tell me that think of driving like having sex with the boy for the first time. What? What does that have to do with anything? What does that have to do with driving? What does that have to do with pulling out of a park? I don't understand. So after that, I disregarded that for a second. I'm just like, this old ass man, mind you, he's probably like, I'm dragging it. He's probably like 42 or whatever. Either way, he's still old enough to be my father. You do not need to touch my hands at all. You do not need to touch my hands because I do not like being touched. It's not just gonna fly with me. So we passed that part. So we get on like this highway part. It's called King's Highway if you're from Brooklyn. So we driving on King's Highway, and traffic was kind of heavy at that time. So he would like get scared, I guess, thinking that I'm not gonna stop at the red light, but obviously I know what a red light is and it needs to stop, and I'm gonna fucking stop. So I'm pulling up, like I'm not driving that fast. I'm going at least like 25. I'm going, and then after he was like, do you go this fast when you're having sex with your boyfriend? I'm sorry for my phone, but I was like, what? I have a girlfriend, number one. So he like got standoffish after that, and I don't really care because I'm here to learn how to drive, not to talk about my personal business that has nothing to do with you. So we're just driving or whatever, and he started telling me about like when he first started teaching like girls how to drive or whatever, and I don't really care. I'm just like, I'm trying to concentrate on driving so I won't crash. I don't care what you're saying right now. So he goes, remember what I said? This is my arm. He says, remember what I said? Put your hands up here. I said, hold on, don't touch me. I said, don't touch me. I just don't do it. Don't do it. This guy, ridiculous. Okay, this first lesson passed. Second time, maybe like second, third time, I had 12 lessons. Maybe like the third time, he came. Like when I get in the car to give him my permit. That's when I had a permit at the time. I had to give him my permit, and he wrote my name up to sign, whatever, to know that I showed up. And whatever, he started asking me if I'm comfortable, whatever, and I'm just like, yeah, I'm like a one-word person when I don't know you, so I'm just like, yeah, I'm comfortable, I guess. I guess so. I don't really care. So he told me, he asked me if I remember the things that he told me the last time, and I told him that I did. So I did it by myself without him like saying do this, do this, do this. So that day we was learning how to do 3/4 turns. So let me ask y'all a question. Alright, first of all, 3/4 turns is making a U-turn basically, but the way you're supposed to do it, not just whatever. So this guy goes, when doing 3/4 turns, you're supposed to start slow and then make your way and go fast so the traffic won't come into you. Just like when somebody's putting his look, I stopped him so fast before he got to say any of that, and I was just like, where are you going with this? Where are you really going with this? Like, what does this have to do with you teaching me how to do a 3/4 turn so I could pass my license, so I get my license? What does that have to do with it? This guy is just gonna say, oh, I'm just making a reference of something you could relate to. I said, I do not relate to any of that. How do you know that I'm even active? Why are you even asking me? Why are you even talking to me about this? I said, I'm way younger than you. And he was, the whole time he like, I just did this little but the whole time I like sensed that he was feeling away because I had to like park him a bit, and we was like in the middle of the double solid yellow lines. I was blocking traffic while I was just like, stop doing that. Like, it's making me so uncomfortable. I didn't schedule a lesson for like 2 months because I just did not want to have a lesson with him at all. I just could not stand it. He was getting too comfortable. When he came pick me up from my house to go do my lessons, he would try to give me a hug. While we hugging, he does not need me to stop the car. Stop the car himself and tell me what I'm doing wrong. He does not need to touch my arms or whatever. Like, say if I did something right and like I did a turn right or whatever, he would be like, oh, how should I explain it? He would like rub my shoulder like, oh, good job. Why are you touching? And I will always do this while I'm driving. Like, so my very last lesson, this is when this whole shit just turned the fuck up. No, it was my 11th lesson. My last lesson, he peeped that I was not with the shits. I was not in the mood for anything that day. It was pouring. He still wanted to come. I did not want to be driving, but it was whatever. So my 11th lesson, after 2 months of like stop going, my 11th lesson, I got in a car, gave my permit, you know, the usual. And he was he told me, oh, your nails are pretty. I said, so he told me, he asked me if I remember the things that he told me the last time, and I told him that I did. So I did it by myself without him like saying do this, do this, do this. So that day we was learning how to do 3/4 turns. So let me ask y'all a question. Alright, first of all, 3/4 turns is making a U-turn basically, but the way you're supposed to do it, not just whatever. So this guy goes, when doing 3/4 turns, you're supposed to start slow and then make your way and go fast so the traffic won't come into you. Just like when somebody's putting his
Look, I stopped him so fast before he got to say any of that.
and I was just like,
where are you going with this? Where are you really going with this? Like, what does this have to do with you teaching me how to do 3/4 turns I could pass my license?
This guy is just gonna say, oh, I'm just making a reference of something you could relate to. I said, I do not relate to any of that. How do you know that I'm even acting? Why are you even asking me? Why are you even talking to me about this? I said, I'm way younger than you. And he was, the whole time he like, I just did this little, but the whole time I like sensed that he was feeling away because I had to like park him a bit. And we was like in the middle of the double solid yellow lines. I was blocking traffic while I was just like, stop doing that. Like, it's making me so uncomfortable. So I started telling like people about it, that how this little thing between my driver was not gonna work. So I just never told my driving school because I had stopped, like, I didn't schedule a lesson for like 2 months because I just did not want to have a lesson with him at all. I just could not stand it. He was getting too comfortable. When he came pick me up from my house to go do my lessons, he would try to give me a hug. Why are we hugging? Why are we hugging? Why are we touching? You over there, I'm over here. You on this side, I'm on this side. Keep your hands to yourself. If you feel like that I'm doing something wrong, he has the brakes on his side. He could stop the car for himself. He does not need me to stop the car. He can stop the car himself and tell me what I'm doing wrong. He does not need to touch my arms or whatever. Like, say if I did something right and like I did a turn right or whatever, he would be like, oh, how should I explain it? He would like rub my shoulder like, oh, good job. Why are you touching? And I will always do this while I'm driving. Like, why are you touching me? I do not like it. And I know he felt like I was uncomfortable and I did not like it. So my very last lesson, this is when this whole shit just turned the fuck up. No, it was my 11th lesson. My last lesson, he peeped that I was not with the shits. I was not in the mood for anything that day. It was pouring. And he still wanted to come. I did not want to be driving, but it was whatever. So my 11th lesson, after 2 months of like stop going, my 11th lesson, I got in a car, gave my permit, you know, the usual. And he told me, oh, your nails are pretty. I said, and then after he was like, oh, I had braids like these, but it was more braids cornrows going back. So he was like, oh, who did your braids? And I was like, I went to the hair salon. First of all, why are you asking me these questions? What does that have to do with us starting? I have 45 minutes for a lesson. We're taking up mad time while you asking me what my hair is about. Why do you even care? Why do you care about my nails? He was always asking me about my nail color and what makes me pick these colors and stuff like that. And I'm just like I always gave like a standoffish thing, like who cares, you know? So that day, got a car or whatever. I was not with the shits at all. I could not be bothered that day. And he was gonna go say that he just had a lesson before me. So I'm just like, oh, okay. He was like, oh yeah, the girl was telling me about how her boyfriend cheated on her and stuff like that. And he was basically telling me that the girl wanted him, but he didn't want her, but he wanted me. And he didn't say it in those exact words, exactly how he sounded. He was basically saying she got cheated on and she wanted comfort from somebody, and he didn't want to give her that type of comfort that she wanted, but he wants to give me that type of comfort that she wants from him. Do y'all get that? And I was just like, who? Comfort from who? I'm like, okay, that's nice. And this is when I started to be extra rude. I'm never rude to my elders just because that's just not me. I just was like, now it's time to be disrespectful because you're doing way too much. And I did not want to take it too far and bring to the driving school and get him fired and all of that. I just thought that he would get the drift, like, stop, you know, but he didn't because he's a typical old perverted guy. So I basically was like, before we pulled off, I was like, can you not like talk to me about stuff like that while I'm driving, because it distracts me and I just, no offense, I just don't care. And he's like, I understand that, whatever. So he didn't talk the whole time. He just told me go left, go right, go up, down, whatever. So that day I was parking by myself for the first time without him like guiding me like out the car. So the whole time I had on these leggings that day. It was like sweats, pink sweats, leggings, joggers, something like that. And it's kind of like tight, of course, because it's like spandex material. So he has something at the bottom by my feet of the driver's side, and he said, oh, can you pass me that by your feet? And I'm looking like, why is there anything by my feet in the driver's side anyways? If anything, if you want anything down in a car, it should be on the passenger side. You get what I'm saying? So he's just like, yeah, can you pass it? It was like a bag or something. I didn't open the bag. I didn't care what was inside the bag. I just wanted to just let him. I didn't want him to go down there and get it for himself, because that's between my legs, and that's just like. So I was just like, okay, there's a black plastic bag, a regular black plastic bag that you get at the corner store or whatever. So I picked it up. It was kind of like, look, I don't know what was in there, but today is the bad, I just did that. I just threw it to him. I just threw it. I did not want to know. I didn't want to touch it too. It looked dirty. It wasn't gonna happen. So what happened after that? So the lesson's almost over. He's basically saying, oh, okay, how many more lessons do you have? Because they don't know. The instructors never know how much lessons that you signed up for. So I said I only have one more until my road test. My road test was June 9th. And this was about my last lesson. The first before last lesson was in May, and my last lesson was a week before my road test. So he was like, okay, so I'm going to see you this Sunday coming, which was my last day. And I said, yeah, or whatever. So I pulled up in front of my house, and he gets out from the other side, get out from the driver's side to get out. So one thing, I told y'all I had on these sweats thingy, and it was pouring that day. I had on rain boots with it. I was looking busted. I was looking all the way up busted. My hair was braids was looking crazy. My nails was off like how it is right now. But I got out of the car, and he was like, oh, okay, you did good today, and I'll see you Sunday or whatever. So he was reaching out for a hug, and I'm just like trying to give him like a little high five or whatever. You want to know what this man just said to me? When like I'm walking away, like, you know when somebody says something underneath their breath, but you can still hear them because they said it loud enough for you to hear it. This guy went and say, this shit gets me pissed off every single time that I talk about it. You have a nice body for a young girl. I don't want to entertain him because I was just not in the mood that day. Fast forward, Sunday come. This is Sunday. Oh, I'm shaking my camera. Sunday come, and I come out. I'm waiting for him to say. Usually he's there before me, but this time he was actually kind of late. So I called the school, like, my instructor, taking long, and I'm about to go back and fuck inside because it was kind of cold that day. So they said, oh, he's on his way, whatever. Right when I was like, okay, he pulled up. He was like, oh, sorry I'm late or whatever. I had some things to handle or whatever. I'm like, okay. So I didn't want to bother like sitting inside the passenger seat to get out the car and go back around and go in the driver's seat. So I just went around, and I said, can I just sit in here, because that's just too much in and out. So he said, okay. He opened the door for me. I went inside, and he closed it. He went on his side and got in the car. So he asked me how my weekend was. I don't remember what I did that weekend, but I was just like, it was good or whatever. So he was basically telling me about his weekend, how he went to some party shit, and I was just like, and he was like, oh, I was getting girls' numbers. Did I tell y'all he's like 45? A fat roly-poly 45-year-old. Like, he's mad. Annoying. So he was like, oh, how he was getting girls' numbers at the club all night, but the girl number that he really want, he playing and won't give their number to him. And I'm just like, oh, at this point I'm like, is he starting with his shit already? Like, I just got a car. So I said, all right, here we go, because I already wrote down my name and everything. And then after I did my whole thing myself, like, he didn't have to tell me I did anything wrong, right? I was like basically ready for my road test. So fast forward, got to the end of my road test. I got to the end of my lesson in front of my house, and he's gonna go tell me that good luck. Okay, so I accept it. I'm like, thank you, whatever, thank you for my lessons or whatever, because this is the last time I'm ever gonna see him. I saw him one more time.
But I was like, he's a good luck and see you in the future, and hopefully one day you pass my way. Sorry, I'm like, goodbye.
So I said, thank you for my lessons or whatever. I appreciate it and blah blah whatever. So he basically, I got out the car again. I don't know where this guy hands was reaching for. Like, he got out the car before me to open the door for me. I don't know why, but it just won't open from the inside. So I'm like waiting for him to open the door from the outside. And he's just like, he did some shit like you know those corny guys where, like, when they open the door for you and he just, like, first of all, I'm not his woman at all, never would be, never think about it, never nothing. That shit is annoying, it's ugly, it's disgusting. He's an old ass man trying to hit on a 19-year-old. So I had to tell him about himself that day. I got out the car and he's doing whatever with his hands. I don't know where he was trying to put his hand. I don't know, I don't care. I told him, hold on. I said, I respect you because you're older than me, but when you cross the line of disrespect, this is when I get crazy. So he's like all confused or whatever. Mind you, there's somebody else in the car because that day we had to pick the girl up before. So, because I don't know, a girl was in the car or whatever for a lesson. So she heard everything. I was basically telling him I don't like the way that he feels comfortable. I don't know him. I had 12 lessons with you. That does not mean that we are together. That does not mean that I know you like that for you to touch me. Because after the first lesson, this guy felt comfortable enough to, like, hands on, don't touch me. So I told him that I don't like the fact that, because we have to review the instructor. So he asked me what I was going to, like, rate him.
I told him I was gonna rate him the lowest score.
He thought I was joking, so he starts laughing like, and I'm just like, I'm rating you the lowest score. He asked me, like, why am I gonna rate him the lowest score? And I told him, like, I don't like the fact that, oh, my camera's on. Okay, so I told him I didn't like the fact that how he was getting too caressive, if that's a word. I don't like the way he was getting so caressive over me or whatever, because me personally, I don't like that, and I don't like other people hovering over me. So he apologized or whatever just so I could give him a good rate. And he was like, I just couldn't understand how beautiful you were, and I never had well, he called me like a person he gave a lesson to. He never had somebody so beautiful and so charming. Some stupid shit he said. I was not even listening. I was just yelling over him, saying I do not care. And this is right in front of my building, from people standing there in front of their buildings and their houses, in front of their houses and stuff. I'm just yelling at him like, I do not care. I do not want you touching me. I'm giving you a bad rating. This whole thing you told me, yes, he knows how to teach people how to drive really well. I admit that, because I can drive really well myself now. That's why I got my license, but that's not the point. I did not want him touching me. I did not want him all over me. I told him that I didn't think that was cool. And he basically was saying that he didn't really think that I would feel a way about it. He said I do this to everybody. I said, well, I'm not everybody. I'm not like that. You don't need to put your hands on somebody to teach them how to hold the wheel. I'm sorry, I feel comfortable. When on my road test, I hold the wheel like this. They did not give me no points off for that. Why did I have to hold my hands like this over the wheel? Why did you have to caress my hands? Like, if I had on a sweater and my sweater stopped like right here, he would like pull it up for me. And I told him about that. Like, do not touch me. I do not want you touching me at all. I do not want him to give me no hugs, no nothing. And he was like, all right, I understand that, but I just wish you a great future or whatever. And hopefully one day we could be together. I think this guy was some crap. I don't know. I do not know. But hope you guys enjoyed my video, because this was just a long ass video for no reason. Hopefully it's not too long after I edit it, but hope you guys enjoyed my story time, and I will try to make more story times, because I don't really have that much interesting things that happened in my life. But at the end, after I told him about himself, when he went to pick me up for my road test, he was so quiet. Like, he said hi to everybody else, and he was just looking at me like, hi, Kia. And I'm just like, hello. Like, he took it, not play with me. Like, after that, he was just like not having it. And you know, sometimes you just gotta tell people about themselves so they can stop doing stuff. But bye guys, I hope you guys enjoyed my story time, and I'll be back with more videos 2 times a week. So like, comment, share, subscribe to my channel.